said. Well, Manhattan Borough President Scott Stringer brought fresh enthusiasm, energy, and ideas to his job. When Scott was just a boy, he worked as a volunteer in Ambassador Vanden Heuvel's campaign for Congress. Now, that campaign was not successful, but Scott's admiration for Bill made him an immediate advocate for the park when Bill presented our enterprise to him. And for anyone who's ever tried to raise money, you know the feeling, the wonderful feeling, when you put out an idea and your hand, and the guy says, yes, I'll be there. I want to be there. So that was Scott. I give you Scott Stringer, Manhattan Borough President.
Well, thank you, Sally, for that bit of history. Yes, it is true. When I was 13 years old, I campaigned for Bill Vanden Heuvel for District Attorney of Manhattan, and we ended up knowing each other for, I think, close to 40 years. That was my second big campaign. I campaigned the year before when I was 12 for a relative of mine named Bella Abzug. So by the time I got to know Karen Maloney, I recognized that you can really make a difference by supporting not just good public servants, but great public servants. And it doesn't come any better than Ambassador Vanden Heuvel and Congresswoman Maloney. I think you all agree, so let's give them a big round of applause. And sometimes you don't have to run for office, public office, to make a difference. And I have to tell you something, this would not be happening today if it wasn't for a great civic leader in the name of Sally Menard. So let's give her a big round of applause as well. And I think Carolyn talked so much about what this park, this memorial means to our city, to Roosevelt Island, and to the entire world, that speaks to the issue of freedom and hope for the generations that will still come here. But I just want to say thank you to the people of Roosevelt Island. You know, many folks have to recognize that the pioneers who came to this island generations ago really shaped it. You built the schools, the daycare centers, the quality of life. You created this wonderful, multiracial, intergenerational community that speaks to what this city is all about. You have had challenges here. Sometimes resources and government hasn't always listened to you. And yet you have persevered in a way that makes it possible to create real land use possibilities and wonderful opportunities like Cornell Tachyon and what's happening right here today at the Roosevelt Four Freedoms Park. So I want to just say to each and every one of you, community-based planning is a lot of work. It's hard to herd cats. One thing I've learned about Roosevelt Island people is you're a very different group of people. You are very, very committed, but also very opinionated. You were totally opinionated. Give yourselves a round of applause. You know how opinionated you are. And those opinions really matter because you're not opinionated about yourselves. You're really opinionated about the island that you love and the city that you can't get enough of. And I just want to say it's been a real privilege to serve you as borough president and to help also contribute to this wonderful endeavor. I am very honored to be here with all of you and all of our elected officials, some who couldn't be here today, to say it to all of you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Well, now we're going to hear from the famous Gina Pollara. Now, many of you know her very well. This is her other island. And it's been an adventure to work with her in bringing this beautiful, beautiful design and this beautiful legacy of Roosevelt into being right here. Now, I just want to tell you a story. Louis Kahn's son, Nathaniel, told a group of architects here yesterday that his father always chose a young member of the firm, relatively untried and untested, to oversee the construction of each of his designs. And he wanted someone, Louis Kahn did, someone with nothing to lose, someone who would not compromise on materials or construction, who would demand perfection and be absolutely true to the design. Now, with Louis Kahn not here to make that decision for this Four Freedoms Park, Nathaniel admitted that he had been very skeptical that there would be such a person. But, he said, he was wrong. Gina was that person for this design. And it's absolutely true that the quality you see around you is due to Gina's relentless, indeed ruthless, commitment to protect perfection. Gina Pollara.
Thank you, Sally. It's been a great privilege to work with the team that I've had, both with Ambassador Vandenheuvel and Sally and Kathy Sloan, but also my construction team. John Conity came on board about a year ago, and he's been wonderful. But I do want to thank all of the elected officials, both here, those are here that are, and those that are not here, for their support and their advocacy for this project. But mostly, I want to thank the REAC Board of Directors and the REAC staff and the residents of this island who have been challenging and interesting to work with. When I first got involved in this project 8 years ago and did the exhibition, and we did a modified version of the exhibition at the Riva Gallery, it was my introduction to Roosevelt Island. And over these past 8 years, I think I've made some very good friends here, and I've come to appreciate how special this island is. And I really do consider it kind of my adopted home. And I think of this park as a very, very special place. And I think this special island deserves this very special place. And I hope you will all come to feel that it is the special place for you, and that you will find peace and a quiet place here to contemplate and think about your place as Roosevelt Island residents in the world, and your place as civilians in the world. So thank you all very, very much.
Thank you, Gina.